everyone, happy Wednesday. Today's Wednesday, September the 14th, and I hope that you're having a great week as we go quickly through the month of September. People are getting into routines and schedules. School is in full swing, and events, sports, a birthday, all kinds of stuff going on. And so wherever you find yourself this week, I hope that it is going well for you. As we look ahead to the second half of the month, I wanted to mention, if you were not here this past Friday, you missed it for our first family night that we're doing this year. And we had a great time together, great food, and a lot of fun. We spent some time in prayer together as we kicked off this new venture for our church. And so if you missed it, you can still sign up. You can still be a part of the next one in October. It's the second Friday of the month, and you say, I don't have kids. Doesn't matter. This is our church family. We're all meeting together. We all want to be a part of this. The studies show that 5 adults, it takes 5 adults for a child to really mature in their faith and stay in the faith. The studies have shown that. And so we want all adults in all parts of our church to be a part of this as we raise our children to follow after Christ. And so we all play a vital role in that. So the second Friday of the month of October, plan to be a part of this. And we look forward to whatever we have in store for this month as we look ahead. I also wanted to remind you that this Saturday at 9 is our Ladies' Prayer breakfast, so you can be a part of that. If you have questions, contact Cheyenne. She can give you information as needed there. I just wanted to share with you a quick thought from the Word, and as I was thinking of what I wanted to share, I'm excited to be back in the office and getting routines back, and the beginnings of the school year are always difficult for teachers. But then I'm in charge of retreats for our school, and high school retreat, we took off for that, and then junior high retreat, which is just one day, but there's a lot of planning for it, and because junior highers, you're only around them for a day. After a day, you're like, whoo, okay, go home. Anyway, but we had a great time for our retreats, but I am excited about getting into the normal routine of school and work and getting back in the office. And so as I was thinking of sharing this day from the Word, something that came to my mind was something that actually happened while we're on the retreat. While we're up there, we're there 3 nights, and we're in Westfield, Wisconsin, which is about 40 minutes north of, about an hour and a half north of Madison. Not toward the Dells, but up 39 there. And it's in the middle of nowhere. Like, it's just, it's a camp, and it's a Christian camp. It's a fantastic camp. I also found out that our church went to a retreat there probably like 20 years ago, because I saw some pictures, and I was like, oh, I know where that is. Anyway, we're at the camp, we're at the retreat there, and it was a wonderful time. And some of the night games, what I loved about it, though, is at night, playing these games, running around the woods and stuff. I love just sitting there and looking up at the stars. And I've said this many times before, I love the night sky. The night sky is one of my most favorite things to just look at and enjoy, admire the beauty. I love seeing like space telescope pictures and the deep corners of space and all of that. I've always had a fascination for that. Maybe that's why I like Star Wars and Star Trek. But anyway, as I'm looking up at the stars, when we're up there, we are miles away from any light source, like major light sources like cities. And so you don't have light pollution there like you do here. And I miss seeing the beauty of night. And while I was looking at the stars and the constellations and things, and I noticed, and I pointed out to some of the kids, I said, you see there was like this like hazy, almost like clouds that went across the middle of the sky. And the kids were like, what are those? Those are clouds. And I said, they're not. It's the Milky Way. And it's so amazing, because when you first see it, you second guess yourself. You're like, I don't think that's what that is. And then you're like, wait, it is exactly what that is. It's the Milky Way galaxy. And it's so fascinating to me that as I'm sitting there, like everything I'm looking at is part of this galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy. And yes, I know you could get a telescope and you could see other galaxies and other stars. It's just fascinating how big the universe is, how much you can see, and yet anything we can see, like, and I've shown you pictures of galaxies and things of that nature, and to think of all of this, okay, my entire life, my entire existence doesn't compare to even the world. Like, the world is just spinning, right, as it goes around the sun. And all of this is if I could use the word indescribable, unimaginable, like that there's that much vastness, that much things out there. And I know I've shared this before with the verses, the heavens declare the glory of God, the skies show his handiwork. And I wanted to use that because the verse that I wanted to read from today is in Romans, and it really it struck me. And so that's what I wanted to share with you today. So Romans chapter 1, and this is Paul writing to the Romans, and he's establishing the if I could use the word, the depravity of man, the sinfulness of man. He's working at the beginnings of the gospel, okay? And that is, we are sinners and we need someone. With the good news of Jesus is because of the bad news of us. And so there's a verse, we're familiar with verse 16. I'm not ashamed of the gospel. It's the power of God for salvation. Verse 17, for in it the righteousness of God is revealed from faith for faith, that is written, the righteous shall live by faith. We know the verse. Verse 18, for the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. Okay, we know this verse. We've heard this verse, that the unrighteous people don't care about the truth. They suppress the truth. God's wrath is revealed against them. And then we read verses 19 and 20 with verse 18 as this idea of, you guys don't see the truth because God has shown you the truth. But I want to read verse 19 and 20 with the mindset of this idea of the Milky Way, the galaxies, the universe. It says, for what can be known about God is plain to them, because God has shown it to them. For his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and his divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world in the things that have been made. Like, yes, Paul is saying, listen, the unrighteous don't have an excuse. Like, they can see the things of God. But then the same idea, like, what a testament that God has shown himself in these ways. Like, do you really think of God when you look up and see the moon? Like, we had that bright moon the other day, harvest moon or whatever it was. Like, it was just amazingly bright. You almost think there was an eclipse coming with it. But do you think of God when you see the moon? Do you think of God when you see the sun? Do you think of God when you see the stars, the Milky Way? And in those moments, does it make you think of the power of God and the what does it say? He said his divine power, his eternal power, and his divine nature. God is an amazing, amazing God, and he created this to show us who he was. And it's so difficult because so many people look up at that universe and they don't see God. They don't see him. They see randomness. They see chaos. They see chance. And yet when you see how everything is exactly where it needs to be, how the earth is exactly where it needs to be, and the tilt of the earth, like everything is exactly how it needs to be because there was a designer involved. His eternal power, his divine nature has been revealed in the creation of the world and the things that have been made, so that people who don't see God do not have an excuse for not seeing God. It's because they in their hearts have chosen, I don't see God in this. And so I hope as a believer This causes us to just worship God in seeing the magnificent and seeing the beauty of all of that, all the way down to the tiniest little microorganisms, which in themselves is like a tiny little universe, to see God and the order and the beauty that he is, and see his eternal power and his divine nature. I hope that you have a great week. It's supposed to be getting warmer this week, and so I hope that maybe you get a chance to get outside and just worship God, looking at the beauty of creation. Have a great week, everyone. If there's anything I can do for you, let us know. If not, we will see you on Sunday, Ladies Saturday morning for the ladies' prayer breakfast, and then everyone Sunday morning as we worship God together. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next week.